Hello, my name is Fred Detweiler. Today's date is July 6th, 2015. My friends and family encouraged me to do this video. They always had questions about the garden and how to grow this or that. And so I thought I would do this video. We live in Pennsylvania, Zone 6. And this is my backyard garden. We purchased this ground here in 1986, and we own 10 acres. And so over the past years I've been developing this property, and I've been gardening for about 25 years here in my back gardening. When I was 12 years old, I wanted to do carpentry, and so I went to Votech school and graduated. And when I was 20, I started my own carpentry business, and through the years I started doing electrical work and plumbing and certain additions in building. And so everything you see here is something that I've designed and built on my own. Even the house here I built years ago. And so if you have any comments or questions or suggestions about this video, please feel free to leave it in the space below. And if you want to share this with friends, please feel free to do so. I'm really excited to be able to show you this video. I built this pond here on our property about 25 years ago. It's 11 foot deep, and the fountain that you see I built out of a sump pump, and so it's on a 24-hour timer, but you can make your own fountain and save a lot of money. It's maybe about a day project. And so let's take a look here at some of the flowers. My wife does a lot of the flowers here in the back gardening. We did a stone path here leading down to the grass. And the pretty lilies. I love the color of the lilies. And we have zinnias here. We have a butterfly bush. It's really exciting this time of year. We get the hummingbirds in. Now over here we have a little fountain that I built. I used a 30-gallon tub and put a little pump in it that I got from one of the home centers. And it's operated on a 24/7 mechanical timer. We put some nice stones along the edge, a couple little logs there to anchor the landscape down. There's a hibiscus bush here. It's going to get some beautiful red flowers probably within the month. But we love watching the birds, and the hummingbirds come in. We just started getting them at the feeder here. Let's spin around here. I have one trellis here, but I have another trellis I wanted to show you here in the corner. It's a corner trellis I built a couple of years ago. Built it out of 2x4s and 1x2s. We have a nice clematis vine we grew there about 2 years ago. So let's go this way here. This is my dog Bailey. He's an 8-pound Maltese. So this is a trellis here that I built about 2 years ago. It's made out of 2x6s, the top rail, and the vertical pieces are 2x4s. and I cut out some corner brackets there on my bandsaw, and then the top 2x4 pieces for support, and then I put some curves on the edges to give it some grace. And then once the wood dried out, I applied a white outdoor stain. Over along the house we planted some canna lilies. They produce a beautiful red flower in the summer. They attract hummingbirds. Hummingbirds always like red colors. So let's take a walk through the garden trellis. This garden here in the front's been on the property for about 20 years. It's 18 by 30. It's my first garden, and then you have the garden in the back. I built and developed that, designed that about a year and a half ago to expand the first garden. There on the left, I have an outdoor shower and a workbench area with a trellis above it. And then on the right side there, I have 3 garden beds that are 4 foot by 32 foot, and they're divided into 8-foot sections. But here on the left, here we have some green pepper plants, the bell peppers. And then in the front here I have a couple of the basil plants. We use the basil in our tomato sauce that we can. We can approximately 100 quarts of spaghetti sauce for the year. And then I also have the Mountain Spring tomatoes here in the front. Use a lot of them for canning. Also have some banana peppers right here. And then under this row cloth, I have some broccoli. I have about 2 plants left there that needs to be picked. But I love the row covers. It keeps the bugs out, the yellow butterfly, the looper worms that get all over your cabbage or your broccoli or your kale. And so the row covers are simple to install. And if you have any questions or comments about the row covers or anything you see on this video, again, feel free to ask a question. I also have an underground drip system that I built here that's supplied from water from the house. And speaking about water, while we're on the subject, the pond over there is what I use to supply water for the backyard garden over there. Right here off to the side I have a workstation that I use for cleaning all the vegetables. It keeps all the dirt outside. And so let's take a look behind me here. I have some leftover kale plants that I planted in some Swiss chard. Those are excess plants. I love sharing all these vegetables with my friends and family. So let's take a walk over here. Some of these 4 by 32 foot gardens in the back. And they are divided into 8-foot sections, so you could begin with an 8-foot section and build off of that over the years. I always share with people that it's better to start small and build off of success. And so under this row cover here I planted some kale and some lettuce. The lettuce is bolted, and so I really need to take that cover off and clean out all the dead leaves and get that area ready for some more plants. Here in this garden bed I planted some eggplant. My daughter Emily wanted me to grow some eggplant for her. So I planted 6 of these plants, and we have some more peppers in the front. Working our way down here, I have some more basil plants, some more tomatoes. Now in the back I have these indeterminate tomatoes. They're the sun gold tomatoes, and some of them are also the big boy tomatoes. I use these string supports to support the tomatoes. You wind it up around the tomato plant. Sure, it seems to me the easiest way to support these tomatoes. And so let's spin around here and take a look at this garden bed here in the middle. Now under this row cover I have kale planted. And so again, it's nice to be able to come out here, pull back the cover, and just pick your kale plant leaves without having to worry about any worms on it. It's well worth the time and effort that you spend to put in the row covers. And then I have some red beet plants here. This is another trellis that I built a couple years back that you can walk under. I also use it to support some tomatoes here on the end. I also use a soaker hose system throughout the garden that I use to water all my plants. I turn the pump on from my pond and it waters my garden at one time. And the pump's controlled by a timer switch that I turn on. Now here we have Swiss chard. I love my Swiss chard. It's very healthy. In fact, all the greens are filled with phytonutrients. And phytonutrients are a substance that's found in certain plants which are beneficial to human health. And they also prevent certain diseases. And so when I learned that, it's like, wow, that's amazing. And they're full of all kinds of nutrient density. In fact, the Swiss chard is in the spinach family. It's called pick and come again. And so as long as you pick the outer leaves, you'll have Swiss chard, or if you plant kale, you'll continue to have Swiss chard or kale throughout the season. And so for $1.29 you can buy yourself a pack of seeds and have your own little garden bed, and you can produce your greens throughout the summer. In fact, I don't know if you know this, but Swiss chard, 1 cup of steamed Swiss chard contains 22% of iron, about 15% fiber, 10% calcium, 7% protein. And so that was another thing I learned, that plants contain protein. And so it's a wonderful source for protein. It doesn't have the saturated fats with it. And so let's continue over here. I have the green zucchini here. We're always giving those away to friends and family. As you fellow gardeners know, they grow in leaps and bounds. Over in this bed here, I have melons, cantaloupe, and watermelon. They're doing really well. Right now, this time of year, they love the rain we've had and all the heat. If you notice here along this row cover, what I have used is some leftover bricks to support the edge. I used some red shale here as a ground cover. I got down from the creek that we have below our property, so I brought that up and used that in between the beds. Over along the edge of the woods where the grass meets the weeds, I planted some elephant ears. They'll get about 5 feet high. Creates a nice graceful separation between the woods and the garden. So this area here that you see used to be all weeds and woods that I cleared. And I used edging, I used the stone. It's a nice pretty material to use for edging. I have another canna bulb, canna lily there. There you can see I have my outdoor workbench. I do a lot of my canning preparation out here. All my tomatoes, I cut and quarter them up, and I have the hose here from the house that I use to wash off all the tomatoes and peppers, and so it really works out nice to be able to clean everything out here. And here in these boxes I have my timer switch and outlet for other uses. I have a tub under here that I fill with water in the early spring that I use to water my plants when it's too cold out to use for my underground systems. I don't want the pipes to freeze, so, and I used a PVC conduit to supply the water out here. This here is my outdoor shower. I love this outdoor shower. You know what it's like when you're out in the garden working and you get all dirty and grimy. And so this water here is supplied from the pond down below. That pond I built about 25 years ago, and it's 11 foot deep. And so it's been really nice to be able to take the water from there and use it to supply my underground irrigation to the plants. Here on the back side I have some more sun gold tomatoes. I just love those sun gold tomatoes. They're nice and sweet, the cherry ones. And this is another elephant ear plant that I grow. And I have a vine growing up there, the trellis on the end. Again, I built this outdoor shower using 4x4s on the corner and 2x6 top rails and some 1x3 battens for the top. And some more rope there you can see to support that tomato plant as it grows. And then I just use boulders along the edge here for the garden. I love the boulders. It produces an anchor point, and it just adds age to the garden, just like the stones. I got some driftwood from a lake nearby. My wife and we go out and look for floating logs and driftwood that we use throughout the garden. That's always a fun day project. So let's take a walk down here. Have some potatoes growing down here and some more melons. Have some more canna bulbs. Up there I have the purple martin birdhouse I built over the winter. We haven't had any purple martins move in, but we've had sparrows and I think a tree swallow move in. Just last week I made this bird bath, set it on top of some logs. I got that pan. It was from a roof-mounted attic fan that I took and repurposed. I turned it upside down and I caulked the holes in it. I love repurposing material to reuse on the property. Over here I have the red Norland potatoes down this row here and this row here. I love the potatoes. They're considered a comfort food, as most of you probably know. They're tubers and storage organs. And did you know that one medium potato has the nutrient content of, it's got B6 in it and vitamin C, 15% fiber, and 26% potassium. And actually the potato has more potassium in it than your bananas. I know for me, since I've adopted this plant-based lifestyle, A lot of my aches and ailments have gone away. My cholesterol levels come down. My blood pressure's come down. In fact, my blood pressure is 111/70, and my cholesterol, my total cholesterol is 139. And I contribute all that to a plant-based diet. And my wife and 3 daughters are also starting to adopt this way of living. And so it's just been amazing to experience the benefits of a plant-based lifestyle. In other words, we get our nutrients and minerals and vitamins through plants, not animals. It makes it plain and simple to understand. So over here we have some more melons, and I have some acorn squash growing. I have some butternut squash. I love the acorn squash. You can, once it's mature, you can clean out the insides and add rice and beans and all kinds of spices to it, and then bake it. And so I love the squashes, family of the winter. You can also store those over the winter. Let's take a look over this way. I have a lean-to greenhouse that I built a while back. Just wanted to show you over there. Scan in here, zoom in. I have some cucumbers growing in there, and also some more Swiss chard, and also some kale. It's always nice to be out in the garden listening to the birds. Love spending time out here in nature. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you like this video, remember to like it or share with your friends and family. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the section below. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave the questions. Anyhow, I hope you have a nice day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.